Hello, people. How's it going? Welcome to stream. Welcome. It feels good. It genuinely feels good to be an Arsenal fan right now. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't great, but we got the job done. Of course, London is red. As always, London is red as always. Arsenal have beaten Chelsea 2-1. Chelsea got a red card, but it definitely was not great. Obviously, sorry, my camera just went out of focus. It wasn't a great performance overall, but at the moment, at this stage of the season, at everything that is happening right now, right here, and all this stuff, getting the result, getting it over line, and all that is all that matters. 3 points in the books. We are good. We are Gucci, and we move on. The main thing, we didn't allow Man City to close the gap. That is the main thing. And to be honest, like 3 points, we can live with that. But definitely some things, some performances, some players we definitely need to talk about. We need to discuss because it definitely, those questions that basically have been boggling our minds for the course of the, for lack of a better word, almost whole season and even season before to a degree, are still there and still yet to be answered. And that is one of the biggest issues at the moment I have with Arsenal. And we'll see where this leads. We generally gonna see where this leads because for Arsenal, it's less than 10 games left in the season. And that is gonna be massive. Those gonna be massive games. Every single game is gonna be like the final. And there's nothing much to say. We have to take this one game at a time, take every game with utmost seriousness, and see what happens. Genuinely see what happens, because today again it was proven that with Arsenal you never know, and that is the biggest worry overall. With Arsenal you never know. Even though we got the win 2-1, we got very, very, very lucky, to be honest. It was very nerve-wracking performance. Sometimes we even got the basics wrong to a degree, but we even didn't create that much. But we got three corners. We scored 3 corners. We scored 2 and 1 conceded in our own goal. Set piece again, ole, and all this stuff. But again, like, if we keep up like this, at some point we're going to hit a stumbling block, and that is the biggest worry. Against Chelsea, we managed to do it at home, because at home it's definitely 10 times harder to a degree, especially because at home we have been decent, but somehow performances don't replicate that. At the same time, away, it's been our downfall at times, and against teams that maybe play even more defensive than you can imagine at times, more defensive than Chelsea, obviously. This could be an issue, because there will be teams that are going to focus on shutting down our set pieces. And if they even do that on top of all of things, it definitely could become a big problem. It could become a big problem. And in the last 9 games, where there is literally zero margin for error in terms of Arsenal title race, when Man City are breathing down our necks, we cannot afford these slip-ups. Let's just put it that way. So we're going to talk about all that. We're going to talk about performances. So people, like the stream, subscribe if you're new, and of course, leave your thoughts in the live chat if you want to tackle them, if you want to discuss them, and if you want to go from there, and if you have anything you want to share. Big up Marlon. Yes, it was set piece again. Big up Waveland. Big up. Hope you're doing well today. Bless up Cooper. Bless up. Good win. 3 points in the books. Couldn't be happier. And it has come to a point again in this stage of the season where you must win, no matter what the cost, especially for Arsenal, because we are fighting for the title. It might not be pretty, it might not be exciting, but at the end of the day, the fact that we got it over the line, despite the way we did it, it is all that matters. Obviously, you would wish that we create more from open play. We panned Chelsea, we did this, we did that, ifs, whats, buts, and maybes, but at the end of the day, positive outcome in 3 points, we move on. But that does mean we cannot talk about some performances, some players who definitely were not up to par by a mile to a degree. So we definitely need to talk about that. Yeah, set piece again, ole ole. That's what it is. Set piece again. Smash the likes, people, and join. Come on. Big up, Peter. Big up, PW. Hope you're feeling well. Good evening to you. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. No, nobody says you should be happy about this performance. About the 3 points, about the win, you can be happy because it is 3 points. It means Man City are not getting closer to us, even with the game in hand. If they beat Palace, it's still 2-point gap. To a degree, it's still in our hands. At the same time, these performances, we have seen this throughout the course of the season. We have about 5-6 games like this, and in about 2-3 of them, we tend to drop points. And if we keep this up, it's going to happen. It's somewhat inevitable to a degree. And it's going to mostly come at the time when we cannot do it. We cannot do it right now in general, but it's going to come to a point where it's do or die type of situation, and we're going to drop points there. And that is something I'm definitely not looking great. And that is something I'm very, 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 very worried. Big up, Ozzy Ange. Big up. Evening. Did you hear? Performance was up there with the FA Cup final performance against Chelsea. No, definitely not. That performance was not up there. Because that game with Per Mertesacker, with doing what he did in 2017, playing literally what it felt like one game for the whole season, playing like prime football and locking them up. No. That was different gravy. To someone, they're not doing that. They're not doing that. Trust me. Yeah, with 9 games left, only points on the board is most important. Exactly. At this stage, you have to accept it, because if in the start of the season you perform like this, you have your doubts that it's not going to get you over the line. But we are right now at this stage where performances like this will be the performances that going to get you over the line. Let's just put it that way. March, April, and everything, the more games we have to play and everything, the more we're going to see these type of performances. Obviously, you could wish that we kill the game off. We scored a third, we scored a fourth, but we didn't. And we don't do that this season. And that is a big worry, because with Arsenal, unfortunately, it is very inevitable that if it's 2-1, we sit back, maybe we try to lock it off in the last minutes, the other team are going to get chances. That is the biggest worry, because they tend to get them more often than not. And many times throughout the season, we have suffered from that. And if we suffer from this at this stage of the season, it's going to cost us dearly. That's at least how I look at it. Big up, Hendon. Big up. I'm not totally convinced that Arsenal will win nothing. I'm not totally convinced. Core squad is knackered. Yeah, that is a big talking point where we need to look at this, because it feels like everyone's knackered. They cannot pull out the full 90 and top level performances. You could see that there were slip ups. There were lack of focus. Sometimes we couldn't even do the basics right. It was very similar against Spurs and very similar against Wolves, where we dropped points, against Brentford as well. And I just don't want to see that. I genuinely just don't want to see that overall. Will we win something? Time only will tell. In 2 weeks, we play Carabao Cup final. We have FA Cup, Champions League, everything. The games are going to start to pile up. And that is going to show what is what. That is going to show. March is a graveyard month for Arsenal. Look at City's fixtures, the next 2 games in the teams draw the 3. True, definitely. For Arsenal's schedule right now for the next few games, it is, I'm not going to say it is tough, but definitely there are possibilities of some slip-ups. Let's just put it that way, because if you look at Arsenal's schedule right now, we have Brighton away, and Brighton are in somewhat decent form currently, so we'll see how that's going to go. Brighton in general for Arsenal tend to be a team where we slip up at times, right? So playing Brighton away, definitely it's going to be very interesting to see. Mansfield Town is a game where we should be able to rotate just before the Champions League round of 16, which should give us some sort of a chance to rest some players. Then we have Leverkusen, who are not going to be as easy as people expect. And then you look, we have Everton at home. We tend to do well at Everton at home, despite in spite of last season where we drew against them. But overall, we tend to do well against at home. We tend to pam them. Then we have Leverkusen again, which is going to be very interesting how that goes. And of course, then we have the Carabao Cup final. Until we play this Carabao Cup final, we have relatively 2 bogey teams and a Champions League. Luckily for Arsenal, against Man City, before we play Carabao Cup final, they have Real Madrid. Man City have Real Madrid in the Champions League, which could play in our advantage. The issue with this is Pep Guardiola, on the other hand, knows how to rotate the players, knows how to rest them, and knows how to get the best out of certain players. And he has rested the players throughout the course of the whole season, which has allowed them still to stay basically within a striking distance of Arsenal. 2 points if they beat Crystal Palace, which I fully expect. So 2-point gap, which means their players are going to be more rested physically, more rested mentally, which could give them that extra edge that Arsenal, obviously, in this regard, do not possess at this stage of the season and are not going to possess until the end of the season, which could be a big problem. Finally decided to play Norgard some minutes, yeah, but overall, again, not enough. Zubimendi today, he was a yikes. Trossard was rubbish to a degree. Zubimendi, again, was a bit of a yikes. Again, it's going to be a problem. Thought Arsenal would draw to the huge statement win. Beware of Brighton. Exactly. That Brighton game, definitely. I'm worried about that Brighton game. I'm fully aware of that Brighton game, that it could be a big, big problem. Yeah, Rice looks knackered to a very big degree. He looks like he has some sort of a knock or something, and he's just playing on painkillers. Because at times when you look at him, in the last 2 months or so, he looks like he's out of breath already by halftime or a bit after halftime. And it feels like he has been overplayed, obviously with Merino's injury, with Arteta refusing to play Skelly in the 8th, and us not having proper backup in that position. It is a massive worry, not to mention that Declan Rice is in that role where in this team, he has to run up and down the pitch constantly. Half the time, he also has to cover Zubimendi's ass and everything. It definitely is a big worry. It definitely is. He gets no rest. He's running on fumes. Yeah, and that is a big worry. Same goes with Timber, to be honest. Timber was not great today. Timber was not fantastic. He scored the winning goal, which is phenomenal. He redeemed himself to a degree. But overall, the performances from Yuri and Timber, right, are definitely not great. Definitely have not overall been great. Big up, Fusion is not jazz. Big up, big up, big up, big up. How are you feeling? How are you feeling? They did look tired, and now that's without a midweek match. Exactly. And this game against Chelsea was the last game where we didn't have a midweek game. That is the nuts part, because right now we're going to start FA Cup. Then we have Champions League. We have international break. You would imagine like half of our squad are going to fly to international break before the World Cup, which means they also are not going to get the rest. And that is starting to be a big worry because the players are starting to get worn out. The international break would also cause some corrections in the team with injuries and something we don't expect, which always is one of the biggest worries as a fan of a club team, especially a big club team that has lots and lots of international players, that they return safe and sound. That is definitely one of the biggest worries right now. Yeah, Zubimendi was shocking. Again, hiding and balling. And that is the biggest thing. We have talked about this throughout the summer and the course of the whole season, because if the team is ticking, the team is dominating, Zubimendi looks like world beater, right? He has scored some very key goals for Arsenal. Let's not forget about that. He has like 6 goals in Premier League as well. He's doing very, very good in certain games. But if you look at overall performances throughout the course of the season, when we play these teams like Villa, like Chelsea, like Newcastle, and teams like that, where teams start to high press, get physical, make tackles straight into the bone, so to speak, he disappears. He starts to pass sideways. He starts to misplace easy passes, and it causes big panic at defense, because many times he's the last man before the back line, and some of them commit even forward, which if we get countered big time with some more technical, more professional and more higher level players, could cause Arsenal massive issues. Definitely could cause Arsenal massive issues, and that is a big worry. Big up Mubarak, big up. I think Arsenal wasn't conceded if Hincapié was. If Hincapié doesn't touch it, yeah, most likely we don't concede. At the same time, it's part of the game, and you have to accept it. We beat Wolves by not scoring a goal. Wolves scored all 3 of the goals. There was 2 own goals, and they scored a goal in our net. Today, Chelsea, they didn't win, but they didn't score a goal. Arsenal scored 2 goals, and we scored a 3rd goal as well for Chelsea, an own goal. So it was a bit reverse roles with just a positive outcome once again for Arsenal specifically today. We just caught life. We got very, very, very lucky. It was very nerve-wracking, very shambolic to a degree performance, and I'm just lucky we got the 3 points. At the end of the day, we have to move on, but that doesn't mean we need to stop and not discuss certain players, their performances, and overall that this could, at the moment, it doesn't look great from the player point of view, that half of the team already looks beat, and there is still literally 3 months to play of football. Whole March, whole June, and whole May. Like, there is still 3 months of football to be played, and we have to play like 9 games in Premier League. If we go far in FA Cup, that's about 4 or 5 games more. That's already like 13, 14 games. If you add Champions League to that, if we go far in Champions League, which everyone expects to get past Leverkusen, get past Sporting Lisbon or Bodo Glimt to get to semifinals, that's 4 more games, at least 6 if we get to semifinals. We still have to play 20 odd games, if not more, to 25 games if we reach finals in all the competitions, up to 25 games. And I don't think this team has in them the main guys who play almost every single game from bell to bell, basically. I don't think they have it in them to play the full intensity, high-end level football for 20 odd games still, back to back to back, with having 2 games a week, 3 games a week, every single week. I just don't think they do. And you know that if players get fatigued, they get exhausted, they get injured. And again, the backups, will they do the job? Some of them will, but many also won't. Today as well, that talks about Odegaard, that he actually apparently has torn a hamstring in the training, and he will be out till the end of the season. People may not like Odegaard. They also want Odegaard get sold. At the same time, he was an option. He was an option where in specific games he could impact the game overall very positively, right? And not having that option of the bench in general is a big issue, because we don't have that depth that everyone was talking about right now in specific positions. And that could be a big problem. Definitely could be a big problem long-term for Arsenal. Let's just put it that way. So we'll see. So we'll see how that's going to go. We're going to see how that's going to go and where it's going to be. So time only will tell. But at the moment, yeah, it is a big worry. It is a big worry looking at it long term. If we look short term for next few games, everyone's going to say, oh, it's fine, don't worry about it. But if we just put it in perspective throughout the course of the whole season that's still ahead, it's definitely looking very worrying. Very worrying. Norgard's passing is underrated in my opinion. From the deep end, the passing he actually possesses to a degree is very underrated. Very underrated. Hincapié looks like he wasn't even fit when he came back. He looks decent, but again, I would not be surprised if many players are carrying a knock at this stage and they're just playing it through it on injections and painkillers just because it's the tail end of the season. And it's like in playoffs, basically. If you've played sports and you have been into playoffs, in playoffs, your knocks, your twists, and everything do not matter at the end of the day. You do anything you can to get on the pitch and help the team. You deal with that later, and it feels like some of the players already are doing that in the team, which could have some long-term, very worrying consequences in the club. I generally believe so. Looks like the guy's been injured since December. Yeah, it feels that way. It definitely looks that way. The attack is very predictable, and you could see that there. I said this after the Spurs game. Against Spurs, I'm not taking that as a measuring stick, because for me, arguably, the Spurs games, the first and the second one, both games, right? Arguably the worst team we have faced this season. Overall, in Champions League, Premier League, Carabao, FA Cup, doesn't matter. Arguably the worst team we have faced, because there was no organization, there was no understanding. It felt like there was lack of communication, and they half the time didn't know what to do. Other teams, they have it drilled into them. How to drop back, how to save, how to close the gaps, how to close pocket spaces and everything, and how to stop Arsenal to a degree, right? So that could be a big problem. That's why I didn't take Spurs game as a measuring stick that Eze is back and Gyökeres is back. I just hope they would show something like that this game, and definitely that was nowhere close to that. 3 points, move on, but these players need the rest. Yeah, and there is no time for rest. Unfortunately, there is no time for their rest. I'm not fussed that Odegaard's injured. He's crap. Play Madueke instead. Bring Manjeri back from his loan. Play Miles Lewis-Skelly instead of Odegaard. There are lots of options, but I don't think Arteta is going to utilize them. With Manjeri as well, I kind of get the feeling that there are no callback option. There is no callback clauses in the Manjeri's contract on the loan. And if we want to get him back, Arsenal will have to pay some sort of a hefty fine to a degree. For Arsenal, obviously, it feels like it's pocket change. But overall, we will have to pay the fine. And do I see Arsenal doing that? I don't. I personally don't. It definitely would be definitely there should have to happen some massive disaster at the club and at the players to call back Ethan Manjeri from Marseille. Definitely there should be something like that. Something needs to go terribly wrong for the club for Manjeri to get called back. Give it damn a cat. Yeah, you could say that, but at this stage, it's more risk than anything. Because at this stage, when the pressure is at its highest, playing the academy will do more harm than good for the team long term. Big up promise. Hope you're doing well. Hope you are happy with the win as well. Hope everything's fine with you today, and hope you're enjoying that Arsenal actually scraped somehow the 3 points. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, we scrapped it. Thank God. We caught life. We caught life with not getting certain penalties. The ref today, I don't talk about referees much, but the referee was shocking on both ways because we caught life with not getting certain calls in terms of penalties awarded to Chelsea. We also, and at the same time, the referee screwed us over as well because 3 or 4 times he stopped us in counter-attacking mid-motion when Chelsea was on the back foot, and we had a chance to go 2-on-1, 3-on-2, and try to exploit those gaps. That again is on the referee. So he was shocking both ways, and it just shows how low of a degree and level of the refereeing it is in Premier League. It ultimately shows that, and that is again a big worry. I just put it that way. Yeah, this team needs some fresh legs, unfortunately. These players, no, they definitely are not. They definitely are not relieved about the 3 points. But again, exactly. The performance was unsustainable in that regard. Yes, 100%. I'm happy we got the 3 points. I'm happy we got over the line. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't great. At this stage of the season, as I said, you have to win ugly because no team is going to just roll over and hand you the 3 points, and we are not just going to blitz teams. You have to win ugly. The issue with Arsenal is that we always have a chance to go for the 3rd, 4th, and kill the game off, and we never do. And throughout the course of this whole season, all we have done 90% of the time was winning ugly. And that is, again, a big thing that for Arsenal is a bit of a let's just put it that way. A bit of a to say the least. But overall, yeah, I guess it is what it is. The match was one. Today, the match was won thanks to David Raya. David Raya was man of the match. I think Gabriel or Timber won one of the match for Prem or FA or Sky Sports or whoever it was. But for me, without shadow of a doubt, David Raya was man of the match. David Raya was man of the match. For me, definitely. Because some of the saves he made, let's be real, we didn't create much in this game. We didn't create much. Right? We scored 2 set pieces. We didn't do much on the open gameplay. Right? It was similar like against United when Amorim just took over, like 2 seasons ago. We beat them 2-1, and only thanks to the set pieces. On open play, they shut us down almost completely. Today, it was very similar. We won thanks to set pieces, and obviously magic from David Raya, because David Raya, there is a saying that goalkeeper stands on his head, basically making saves left, right, and center. Usually it happens against us, because if you remember Oblak against Atletico Madrid in semifinals, against Atletico Madrid, Neuer at Emirates against Bayern Munich in Champions League, and Courtois, and so on and so on and so on. There are countless, Pickford even in Premier League. Usually it happens against us. Today, the goalkeeper was in God mode for us, and it was David Raya, thankfully. Because there was very big chances, and to a degree, you could argue we could have lost that game very easily. We could have lost that game. Best case scenario, drawn that game. Exactly. Exactly. 10-man Chelsea, to a degree, were more threatening than 11-man Arsenal. And that raises the next question. Why we, as a home team, as title leaders, title race leaders, the league leaders, are allowing Chelsea, a team who has 10 men, to play football? Why we are not holding the possession? Why we are not just draining out the clock at this stage when it's 2-1 if you don't want to go for the third? But we just give them the ball, we sit back, and just hope our defense holds up. And we just know throughout the course of the last 2 years that when we sit back and invite the pressure, the team doesn't know how to react if something just happens out of ordinary. If something just, let's just say we have the first line of defense, if it breaks down, we start to panic. We don't know what to do with the second wave. The second line of defense is not there. And that for me is a big worry. Why do we do this? Because against it, same thing was against Palace, against Sunderland, against Villa. It happens all the time, and it feels like the team and Arteta has not learned it. As much as Arteta wants to say that he has talked to his guys and said he doesn't want them to sit back and that he wants to push them forward, if he has done that and the players don't listen to him, that's one thing. But if it happens throughout course of a year, 2 years, and you keep saying the same thing, it's on you. It is on you because you cannot get this right and properly. Yeah, some of the saves that I made were world class. Exactly. Very, very good. We were crap today. Let's be real. We were crap. But Raya actually saved us big time. Raya definitely saved us big time today. And thank God for David Raya in the goal. Big up, Animal Shorts. Big up. Very lucky. Brighton will drop points. We will drop points against Brighton. Trust me. Even last minute we handle. If he want onside, it's done. Exactly. City will still win it. It's only 2 points. We played them. Raya is suspicious. Today Raya wasn't as much suspicious. Raya today saved us. Raya was the sole reason why we won this game. It wasn't the set pieces. It wasn't the defense or anything. Raya was the sole reason why we won this game today. With those 3-4 saves that he made, it was fantastic. That was the sole reason, because from open play we did nothing pretty much. One shot from Eze, I think it was, and maybe from Gyökeres, if my memory doesn't deceive me. Chelsea actually played some football. They actually created from open play. Some of the crosses Reece James was whipping in and everything. We were this close to losing it all, because if today we drawn the game or we lost the game, for me personally, the title race was over. You could hand it to City instantly, because I fully expect City to beat Crystal Palace, the game in hand they have, right? And if we drawn today and they beat Crystal Palace, we are on the same points, and we still have to go to Etihad. And you all know, and I myself included, we all know how Arsenal usually do at Etihad. We have seen it over the years. It's not a pretty sight. Let's just put it that way. That definitely is going to be big talking points, big worries overall. And I'm not gonna say I'm scared, but at the same time, I am worried. I am worried overall that this could go south real quick. And trouble, Rice should have been a penalty. Yeah, we didn't get we at least, like, the football gods per se justified it to a degree. Football gods justified it by us scoring an own goal, because that should have been a penalty. So football gods kind of even the pitch. Even the play a tiny bit. Let's just put it that way, if there's such a thing as footballing gods. Like the karma got us. Let's just put it that way, because the way we were hugging players, grabbing the players, pulling to the ground, I was literally shocked that Chelsea didn't get a single penalty today. I was really shocked that they didn't get a penalty. Like, they should have gotten a penalty, at least one, and they did not. I'm very, very confused and shocked about that, because a few weeks ago, we saw the same type of fouls from other teams, and they were giving us penalties. Yet when Arsenal did this today, the VAR checked it, and there was nothing going wrong. Do you think we can win this final? Well, we can win the final in a one-off game, especially since it's not at Etihad, it's at Wembley. Arsenal tend to do well at Wembley and everything. We have seen that even in Community Shield and everything, in one-off game, Arsenal can do it. We tend to scam a lucky goal, then it goes to penalties at times, or we just do it, right? The thing is, if we do it, it's going to show a lot. If we don't, it's going to also show a lot. And if we are looking for the Premier League game at Etihad, I'm more worried about that game than the Carabao Cup final. Ironically enough, I'm not gonna lie, and I just fully expect. Right now, I'm sitting here. There is still 2 weeks till the game. I fully am sitting here and saying this now. What I expect from that game against City in the Carabao Cup final, starting with Arsenal, are gonna sit back, park the bus to a degree, and try to hit City on counters. Because that's how Arteta plays against City, against Liverpool, every single goddamn time. Nothing has changed. He doesn't have the balls to go toe to toe with these teams. Absolutely doesn't. Especially given the fact that City, for example, yes, they will have Semenyo, but they won't have Mark Gehi. Mark Gehi is not going to play because he's not eligible for the final. So we'll see. We'll see. Reece James in the midfield actually is a very good player as well, like that. You think Brighton game will be super tough away? Yeah, it will be. It definitely will be. That Brighton game in general for Arsenal always is an issue. That away game against Brighton always is an issue, no matter how you look at it. If we now last year we drew at Brighton. The year before that we won 3-0, right? At the same time, we have also we have drawn, we have lost. Like it's a worry. Brighton at home against Arsenal tend to play some good football, and if we are not careful, we are not focused enough, we might slip up. Let's not forget. Yes, we beat them in the Carabao Cup, for example. We beat them in the league this season. But if you look even at the Carabao Cup game, right, we should have been 3-0 down in the first 15 minutes. Pirot missed golden chances left, right, and center. If it was Welbeck, most likely he scores those chances. And it could be definitely worry. It is a worry. I would love to win it with a Gyökeres goal. Same. I would love to win Carabao Cup just to see that this team has the balls and what it takes to get it over the line. Because if we beat City in the Carabao Cup final, it will show some inklings and hope at least that this team has what it takes to hold on to the lead in the Premier League and win the league. But if this team again crumbles and they don't win it, we are gonna go trophyless again this season, because I don't see us beating them in the long term in the Premier League as City in the season. That Carabao Cup game, especially mentally, not as much physically maybe, but mentally, is gonna be the decider who's gonna win the league most likely. Champions League might be a different story, unless we play City in the final, which is also a possibility, let's be real. And even FA Cup, if we play City there, it also could be a possibility. But I think mentally the Carabao Cup final will set the tone for the last 20 or 15% of Arsenal's season and how most likely it's going to pan out. And only 2 days rest to see us dropping. Yeah, exactly. 2 days rest only. This was the last time we had a week's rest for a very long time. As we talked about this earlier in the stream, this was the last time we had a week's break, because right now we're going to start to play 3 games a week again. We're going to play Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday, or something like that again within the span of 1 week. Every single week we're going to win we're going to have midweek games. FA Cup, Carabao Cup final, Champions League, even international break. Half our team is going to go there. They're going to play a lot there. Let's be real. We're going to be lucky if they don't come back injured, right? So for Arsenal, there will be no rests. And this is where Pep Guardiola has done a masterclass, because he has actually rotated the players and saved players and rested players in such a way that they are ready and almost fully charged for this last push of the season, where they need them the most. Arsenal have played more or less the same players almost throughout the course of the whole season, most of the time, which at the end of the day means that they're going to be knackered, they're going to be dead, they're going to be struggling for fitness, energy, maybe injuries. With Pep, he has absolutely rotated them to such a degree that they're always going to be a player who can step in and do the job, and without losing the level, intensity, and quality of the team. And that is a big worry for me. Very big worry, because Arteta doesn't know how to rotate this. Brighton in the Carabao Cup played a weekend side against Arsenal. Yeah, Arsenal played a bit weekend as well, But let's be real, we should have been 3-0 down the first 10-15 minutes, and we just got lucky we didn't. We didn't go down, because if we did, I think if we go down 3-0 in the first 20 minutes or so, we're done. We're done in that. We're out of it. We are not reaching the final. Do you fancy us winning the Champions League? We are one of the favorites, but overall, not at this stage. Not at this stage. Do I fancy us beating Leverkusen? We should. Do I fancy us beating Bodo, Glimt, or Lisbon? Yes, we should. Semifinals is going to be where we're going to see what is what, who we're going to play there. We're going to look after that. But overall, at the moment, I'm very, very like 70% no, 30% yes. Big up, Kwaja. Big up, big up, big up, big up. Hope you're going well. Hope you are doing well. Smash the likes and subscribe, people. After today's match performance, we are winning nothing. Arteta has used up the last of his cut out of gel cards. We'll see, but it definitely feels that way. Definitely. 13 likes, people. Keep smashing them. Keep smashing them. As you said, we barely destroyed teams like Chelsea, and we was lucky. Exactly. Exactly. We don't destroy teams. We get an occasional 4-0 against Leeds and something like that on occasion. But mostly we have to grind it out. It's like pulling teeth at the end of the day. And if we were just doing this right now, when it's then part of the season, when you basically need to dig deep and win ugly, I would get it. But we have done it throughout the course of the season, throughout the whole course of the season. So the question now remains about Arsenal and everything is how deep can we dig and how long we can keep digging at the end of the day. When, like, at some point we need to run out of resources of this digging stuff. Like, are we going to dig to China or what? What is going to happen here? Another stinky win versus Brighton Albion. Yeah, it's going to be rough after Mansfield and everything. Before the Champions League, it's going to be rough. I can't see Arsenal winning the title. Arteta gets scared and plays for draws and overuses players. Exactly. And that is the biggest worry. That is the biggest worry right now. Because he has overused the players. He has overused them already throughout the course of the season. He has played again too cautiously, and it could cost us. And most likely will. I predicted 2-1 Arsenal win. I got it right. Big up to you. I said it's going to be 3-1. Shame it wasn't 3-1. Would be less pain. Our players need to withdraw from the international squads if their nation is only playing in friendlies. But most of the teams are playing in the friendlies. The qualifications are done for the World Cup, aren't they? Unless there are some specific teams that still need to qualify. But most of the teams have qualified, haven't they? Haven't Brazil qualified? Haven't Netherlands qualified and things like that? I haven't dived that deep into all of this, but most of our players are international players. They play for their national teams. And some of them play the big roles as well, which means they're going to play. Especially for Thomas Tuchel. It might not be as much for Brazil with Ancelotti or Netherlands and stuff like that, but for Thomas Tuchel in England, where he just has gotten the job pretty much, he needs to figure shit out and he needs to try out Eze, Rice, Saka in different combinations. And he doesn't have the time. Being international manager, it's very hard because you get players literally for limited amount of time, few times a year at the end of the day. The club coaches get you constantly, and you know how to figure this out and how to do this. You slay now, in my PSG long balls. We'll see. We'll see who we're going to play. For me personally, worst case scenario, we get to semifinals of Champions League and we have to play Atletico Madrid again. I'm going to be scared shitless, to say the least. I'm going to be scared shitless. Let's just put it that way. Zubimendi, Saka, and Trossard were awful. Yeah, they were. Absolutely shocking to a degree. Absolutely shocking. Zubimendi could have passed the ball to Pedro and equalized. Well, luckily he didn't. Big up Promise. Big up Promise. 10 gifted memberships. Big up to you. Gentlemen, Scholar, and the baller. Big up, big up, big up, big up, big up, big up. Big up Football Rick, Godfrey, Tyrell, Matt Spots, Gavin, Mike, Storm Steel, Wave, Hammers Football TV, aka Tony, and Dreadly Fame for receiving the gifted memberships from Promise. Big up to you, my guy. Much love, brother. Big up to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. The community is growing. Rice is tired as hell. He can't. Yeah, he can't. Rice, I think, is tired or is playing with a knock with own injections, one or the other. And I would not be surprised if he's not the only one, right? So I'm worried. Big up BBK, big up Taran, big up. Hope you're doing well, people. Go subscribe to BBK Sports if you haven't already. Big up to BBK and go subscribe to BBK Sports. Hope you're doing well. I hope you haven't absolutely annihilated your TV watching that game, because that was an infuriating watch, to say the least. That was a very rough watch, to say the least, for lack of a better word. But overall, we'll see. For Arsenal, the real time starts now. You know, like as in John Cena, your time is up and your time is now. You can't see me and everything. What for Arsenal, their time is now. It's official. Gabriel Magalhaes has been the Warrior Player of the Match, Man of the Match against Chelsea. I wonder why. I genuinely wonder why. For me, it was David Raya. For me, hands down, it was David Raya, because without David Raya, we lose this game. We didn't create anything from open play. We stunk out some corners. That's how we won. And Chelsea actually created chances where David Raya was forced to make some fantastic saves, even to a degree. So without David Raya, we would not be sitting here talking about Arsenal's victory. We would be sitting here ranting and absolutely screaming at our screens to say it. Big up, Mike. Big up, Mike. Big up. Everyone's saying thank you for the memberships. Big up to you. Love the appreciation in the chat as well. Community settings. You'll love to see it. Yeah, no quad. Haven't seen Dio in this stream for about month, 2 months, something like that. See that quad talk here doesn't roll with him. Like, absolutely, he gets shut down and just doesn't roll with him. So it's gonna be very interesting if he pops up at some point. I was happy when Rice got subbed off. Well, I was happy that he got subbed off. At the same time, we should not be happy about these things. We should be doing this in general, and we just don't. Like that's the thing. Big up Rasta Stocks, big up President Man United fan in the chat. Big up. Another team that won today, 2-1 over Crystal Palace. Big up to you, Rasta. Big up. Celebrating the win, the smashing of the mighty Crystal Palace. Champions League spot. You're getting Champions League football next year. Carrick is the man, the myth, the legend. He's the savior, Lord Jesus himself. Sorry if I offended anyone and everything. Carrick is the man. Carrick is the one. He's carrying you in the Champions League. Yeah, Raya for me as well, man of the match. Raya definitely for me is man of the match as well. Weird how all the Premier League games today ended 2-1. Yeah, all Premier League games ended 2-1 today. Every single home team won. First 2 games didn't have red cards. The last 2 games did. Interesting. I've had the starting goal all my days. Wait, what? Who is that? Oh, imagine if we had Sanchez in goal, all my days, we would be done. Big up Yessa TV. Big up Yessa, my guy. Resident Chelsea fan in the chat. The guy who lost today, who to a degree got robbed. Chelsea got robbed today, to a degree. The referee was shocking. I don't talk about referees much on this channel, but the referee was shocking today. On both sides of the pitch, for both teams. Chelsea didn't get penalties. Arsenal got interrupted. All the counterattacks they had against Chelsea when they could have gone 2-on-3-on-2 or 3-on-1 and stuff like that. Referee had some questionable calls and everything. Like it's yikes. Let's just put it sad. Why is Saka playing? Well, he's one of Arteta's favorites. As long as Saka can limp, walk, crawl, whatever, even lie in the right direction, he's gonna play. David Raya should be, yeah. David Raya should be man of the match, not Gabriel. David Raya should be man of the match, not Gabriel. Let's just put it that way. I will if you will shut up about Mikel Arteta, Odegaard, and everyone else being so rude against them. And I didn't even do anything. It was just a joke. You just say it out of spite and hate. That's a different story. I have no disrespect towards any religion because I'm Christian myself. But yeah. Arsenal are who Arsenal are. I'm very worried. I kind of want to see what Mikel Arteta has said in today's press conference. We haven't done a press conference in about in about what 2 months or something like that. I want to see what Mikel Arteta had to say after the press conference. I know Hendon is about to scream, "I can't," and everything, right? But I think we have to. We haven't done this in a while. Maybe there will be something we can talk about. Let's just put it that way. Maybe there will be something we can talk about. After seeing us beat Chelsea 2-1 to restore our 5-point lead at the top of the Premier League table, Mikel Arteta was swiftly in the press room, swiftly, like Looney Tunes. Was chat to the media. He was asked about the key moments, set pieces, David Raya's display, injuries, and winning ugly. Here's everything he had to say. See? I told you. Trossard in a winger and Martinelli is a center forward. Yeah, Trossard has been shocking. Maybe Trossard to the middle needs to be played more. Some of Trossard's best games arguably have been when he has played most central for Arsenal, if you're looking from that point of view. Even last year against PSG, even this season, when he has played more central as a false number 9, secondary striker, he actually has had some better games. But overall, yeah. Anyways, what Mikel Arteta has to say on the close contest. A proper London derby. We expected that because of the quality of the opposition, because of the individual quality they have, and because we played them 4 times already. So we know how good and difficult they are to play against. Well, 3 times before today's game. After we started the game so well, the first half was very, very dominant. Wait. We dominated in the first half? Hold on. Where did we dominate in the first half? I think the margin of the scoreline should have been bigger. Towards Chelsea, yes, not towards Arsenal. But we were 1-1, so game on. I remind them that we were in the exactly same position against Spurs 7 days ago. But probably we're going to have to go through some difficult times. Okay. On having to level up our set piece each game. Hey. Every team, to be fair, look where they are in terms of the amount of goals they have scored. And they have more quality in their score probably than anybody else to create. And the team and the game and then decided this aspect. We hadn't scored from set pieces for a few weeks now, but we scored so many in open play. Today was an option to score from this kind of situation. We've done it well, and we conceded as well. Yeah, we scored 3 set pieces, 1 in our own goal, unfortunately. The thing is, Arsenal have scored 16 set piece goals this season. Right? 16. Arsenal have scored 58 goals overall. 58 goals overall, right? That's 28%. 28% of Arsenal's goals this season in Premier League have come from set pieces. That's actually insane. On David Raya's performance and personality, David is one of our leaders without a doubt. He's a keeper who knows how to maintain his focus. Well, I'm not sure about that one, Chief, but we move and decide a football match when you need him, because sometimes he doesn't participate at all, and action you have to be there, and that's very, very difficult to do. And the save that he made in the last action, it's a cross and it's not a shot. But in the end of being an unbelievable shot, I got the right angle and my heart almost stopped. But David's hand was there to get back to life. Frickin' hell, what is this blasphemy happening here? On whether David Raya has suffered an injury. Oh, bloody hell. If David Raya is injured, we can basically just end the season right now. I'm not gonna lie. I don't trust Kepa at all. I genuinely don't trust Kepa at all. I don't know what happened in that action. He had some knocks this week, and I don't know if he's related to that too, but overall very happy. Wait. David Raya, yeah, had some knocks this week. What? You want to tell me David Raya is injured and plays injured? Or what is happening here? Because if he has had some knocks, it's definitely not a good sign. What else is here? On whether Mikel has a black eye. What the hell is that for a question? How does that relate to Chelsea in general? On whether Mikel has a black eye. What the hell is even that? I'm very good, thank you. I'm going to give you a hug now. Thank you for checking on me. I'm very good. Oh, family, North London together, whatever the better. What the hell is this? What the hell is this for a question? What the actual hell is this? On any fitness problems ahead of Wednesday. Where is it? On the head of Wednesday. I don't know. Declan has to be substituted, so he's going to get checked. Oh, Declan might be injured, people. See, Declan had to be substituted, so he's going to have to get checked and see if he's available for Wednesday. You should not need Declan Rice for a game against Mansfield. I'm sorry, but if you need Declan Rice to beat goddamn Mansfield in FA Cup, you might as well be done with it. Like, come on. Seriously. What are we doing here? On maintaining consistent 11, blah, blah, on facing ugly games, that's the part of the season. But yeah, it's actually quite insane if you think about it. I'm gonna give you a hug now. What the actual hell? You genuinely don't need Declan Rice to beat freaking Mansfield. You are good with Norgard and all these men. But if you need Declan Rice to play against Mansfield, oh my goodness gracious. We should be able to rotate like we did in a Carabao Cup as well. We played Salmon, we played Madueke, Kepa. Obviously, there could be Jesus and all these men. They should be playing. They definitely should be playing, and that should be a very good job. They should be able to do the job. It's goddamn Mansfield. No disrespect to Mansfield, by the way, but it is goddamn Mansfield. Come on, man. What are we doing here? What the hell are we doing here? Serious talk. It's goddamn Mansfield, you know? It's not like we're playing, I don't know who even. We're not playing like Newcastle or something. You don't need them, man, there. What else is happening? Yeah, but there's nothing like that. Mikel said a black eye question is circling social media, but overall, right, against Mansfield, we should be doing the job. But today, we simply get the 3 points and we move on, no matter how you look at it. The performance was not great at all. The players did not perform great. Some of them had their moments, but overall, it was like another somewhat disappointing performance. Let's just put it that way, but it is what it is. Is Odegaard injured? I have no idea, because there are talks that Odegaard is injured. There definitely are talks that Odegaard is injured. Seriously. Where is it? 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 I want to see this. Odegaard hamstring. There is something, but I don't know if this is true or not. Let's just put it that way. Like, because there is an someone has said this, and I don't know if it's true or not. Martin Odegaard set to miss rest of the season through injury. Arsenal captain suffered torn hamstring during training. Unclear if the 27-year-old Norway international will require surgery, but focus is getting fit to World Cup campaign. And as a reference, people have put The Athletic. Now, whether that is true or not, I have no idea. Genuinely have zero idea, clue, or what is happening. Latvian, do you have a black eye? These questions, like, come on. He dropped due to pressure. Maybe, but I don't know. I don't know. Like, yeah, that is the thing. Believing what everything Arteta says, you should never do that. You should never, ever, ever believe in everything Arteta says. You can read it, but you have to take with a massive pinch of salt, because throughout his time at Arsenal, in press conferences, The track record is definitely not the greatest with Arteta, injuries and all this stuff. How he has defended, how he has tried to basically swivel around them, beat around the bushes. He says something without saying actually anything. And he just plays cards close to his chest, which I get. I absolutely get it. At the same time, the club preaches clarity and connection to the fans. And the fans want the clarity, fans want to know the truth, and we don't get the truth. So it is what it is, I guess, at the end of the day. It is what it is. But for me personally, I have no idea what's happening with the Odegaard situation. Like, go figure. Is there anything? Let's check. Let me check on Odegaard because I want to see this. Arteta has said that Odegaard does not feel well with the knee, and they decided not to risk him against Chelsea. Now, whether that is true or not, go figure, because it's all going all across the place, the rumors. Let's just put it that way. Oh, the politician syndrome, definitely. All them people in the press conference asking him the questions are on the press. Definitely, yeah. Definitely, because let's be real. The one guy who asked the question about the ballers, remember 2 weeks ago, he got asked about the ballers, if Arsenal are balling it or will they ball it, or Arsenal getting called ballers. When Arteta looked at that guy, he literally had like a super villain death stare, and he wished he could destroy him with his eyes. And he said sorry, and he does. When he says sorry, he absolutely does not like the question, and he hopes that the question is gonna be rephrased and readdressed. But he got asked the same question straight up forward, and he got very, very pissed off about it. And some of, like, even though they have a screening process apparently, where they basically fill out the questions that will get asked to Mikel, that won't, then they give them to Mikel so he can prepare the answers and everything. They sometimes slip through the cracks, and it's definitely not looking great for them. But he definitely has some weird syndrome. To a degree, yes, he's a narcissist. It feels like he is like that. Definitely feels like he's one of those. Definitely. But if it's true or not, I have no idea. But yeah, with Zubimendi is not it. He definitely is not too good for the midfield in these type of games. We should be getting away. We should be looking for another number 6, a proper number 6, or even an 8, and put Rice in the 6 for the next season. Will we do that? I'm not too sure. Genuinely not too sure. I'll just put it that way. Martinelli is more effective as a center forward, as number 9, 100%. If you look at Emery, how he was cooking there when he has played for Arsenal, even as a number 9. Under Arteta, he has been quite decent. He has been very decent for Brazil when he plays as a number 9, not as a winger. Not as a winger, that is the biggest thing. Ironically enough, when Martinelli plays in Champions League, since it's different type of football and pace and everything, he looks better at a wing as well. But overall, he still looks better through the midfield. Martinelli plays wide and drifts into the midfield as well, and he looks much more threatening. If Martinelli could play like that in Premier League as well, we would walk this league, right? But he can't. He just does well in Champions League. But as long as he keeps firing like that and performing like that in Champions League, I have no issues. I genuinely have no issues, because I want to win major trophies, Premier League and Champions League, or Champions League. And if Martinelli can keep up the performances throughout the whole course of the Champions League campaign like that, more power to him, more power to Arsenal, more advantage towards Arsenal. Let's just say it as it is. But overall, Arsenal definitely need to look at a new left winger in the summer. Obviously, there are transfer rumors already flying around that Arsenal want to sign a right back. They are looking maybe to part ways with Ben White. Arsenal also want to sign a number 8. They want to also sell Norgard, and they want to sell Martinelli or Trossard, and they want to sign a left winger. At least those 3 minimum, right? Will that happen? Go figure. Do I trust Andrea Berta to do the job? Yes, I do. But that again is 4 months. In 4 months only. It's only 3, 4 months. Andrea Berta will do the job. The biggest question of in all of this is how Arsenal are gonna finish the season, and will Arteta remain for the job? Because I have a very sneaky suspicion that maybe Andrea Berta has two lists of players he would want to sign. One of them is with if Mikel Arteta stays, and the other one is if Mikel Arteta goes, and already maybe chosen manager comes in. And he's working specifically for that manager already signing for those type of players. Because the biggest two players Arsenal signed last summer, Eze and Gyökeres, are not Arteta profile type of signings. Those are more type of signings for the future, for the next manager post Mikel Arteta at Arsenal, more than anything. So we'll see. We'll see, because I think Arteta's job most likely strictly depends how Arsenal fare this season. Will they win Champions League or will they win Premier League? Because there are lots of rumors flying around that there is like an ultimatum from the board set for Mikel Arteta that he must win Premier League, and if he doesn't, most likely he's gone. And that I think only time will tell. Definitely. Bert is already working in the dark. Oh, 100%. He is working behind the scenes, on the scenes, in the scenes, in between the scenes, at the scenes, on the scenes, and all this stuff. He is doing the job. We need to sell 6 players in the summer and get 7 in. Well, we need to sell Martinelli or Trossard. Jesus, would argue Havertz, Odegaard, maybe Merino, but that's not going to happen. Ben White. We need to sell about 6 players, but we need to get about 6, 7 in as well. That is another like major overhaul if you think about it even. But Arsenal need that. I think that is one of the biggest reasons why Arsenal, to a degree, has not won anything. Because up until like last summer or 2 maybe, right? Arsenal have had the same players everywhere. We sign backups and not the main guys, which doesn't stir the pot. It means there are no fresh voice in the dressing room. Let's just put it that way. Arteta doesn't want to sign characters because that would basically diminish him, and they would disobey him to a degree. They would talk sense and they would want to win Arteta. They would butt heads with Arteta. That's why Guendouzi most likely left. That's why Aubameyang left, Lacazette left, and all these guys, because they actually had characters and they went toe-to-toe with Mikel Arteta. But if you look at the teams over the course of history of football who have won trophies, major trophies, every single team has had characters in them. Is it easy to deal with characters? No, it's not. But you need them in your team if you want to win it. Alexis Sanchez was a character. Ozil was a character. Thierry Henry was a character. Wenger himself has admitted that working with Thierry Henry was hell of a job. It was so difficult and everything because these characters are usually some of the biggest players in your team. And they know how good they actually are. So maybe trying to get rid of them, right? And trying to do something against them, it's not usually how it works, and it's not usually how everything should be working. So time only will tell. So we'll see. We'll see how everything is going to go, where everything is going to land. But overall, yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting at this stage how everything is going to develop and how everything is going to resolve itself. But I really, really hope, I really hope Arsenal resolve these issues very quickly and very promisingly. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, don't blame you. Don't blame you. But yeah, people, I think on that note, I'm going to end today's stream. I'm going to redirect you to Northside's stream. I think he's still live. But for today, like the stream, subscribe if you're new, and see you all tomorrow. Whether it's going to be a stream or a video, I don't know. But for today, I am out. Peace.